Hello and welcome. Tony Kent here, and I have some questions I feel are important for you to think about. Are you happy with your life? Are you satisfied with how things are for you? Are there things that you want more of? Do you know your life purpose? Do you love enough? Are you earning enough income to give all you want to give? Do you feel that you're making a difference? Have you mattered enough? Well, my purpose here is to help you move towards being able to answer a resounding yes to all of these questions. In fact, I believe if you watch this short presentation all the way to the end, you'll get a good head start with being able to make positive responses. But let's back up a bit, okay? As I said, my name's Tony Kent. 35 years ago, I was living what I thought was a perfect life until it all fell apart. It was like all of a sudden my life totally unraveled and I slid into a deep and really dark place. I went from being an internationally acclaimed fashion photographer making thousands of dollars a day, doing some things I really loved. I was married to a beautiful woman, 4 phenomenal kids. I owned a beautiful home. Had everything I thought I wanted. I was emotionally, financially, romantically, and spiritually busted. I mean, I wasn't just broke on every level, I was broken. My spirit was crushed, totally devastated. I felt like there was no way out, no hope for me at all. Depressed? That's an understatement. I was really suicidal. I was in so much pain. I didn't feel like that I had anything worthwhile of significance to contribute to the world. And I was deeply concerned about caring for my kids. And I didn't know where or who to turn to for help. However, fast forward to today, and I can honestly say, not only did I find the way out of that massive depression, today you couldn't get me to trade places with anyone else. Seriously, today I live a life, a magical life, and it's filled with vast amounts of both inner and outer wealth because, as you're about to discover, when you discover how to tap into your true inner worth, then manifesting outer wealth is a lot less challenging. So, what turned things around for me? Well, the answer to this is what I want to share with you. See, after years of struggling back then, and this was over 20 years ago, I was blessed to be guided to one of those hidden masters that you hear stories about. You know, the kind of person who just makes you smile, a genuine smile from your heart, no matter how you felt before. The kind of person who carries so much inner power that you can feel inspired and hopeful no matter what your level of despair. He had this special glow. I could feel it, but I couldn't explain it. But I couldn't get enough of being in this man's presence. It was truly magical. And meeting him and being exposed to his teachings unlocked a master key for me for transforming my entire life. And it's also why I've made it my life's mission to share these teachings with all who are ready, so that I can help them totally transform every part of their life, starting today. And that's why in this brief video presentation, I'm going to share with you some of the secrets this amazing master gave me. And they should help you to discover how to instantly begin creating a lot more abundance in your life, a lot more wealth, success, love, amazingly close relationships, to help you to get on track to live a life where you're living in alignment with your life purpose, and that you're leading a life where you feel that you can make a positive difference in the world. You know, even if you have a lot of these things in your life, I can show you how to have even more. Maybe you already make a lot of money, but you're not feeling fulfilled. So stay with me here and let me show you how you can achieve more balance and fulfillment, because as you already know in your heart, money is not the key to fulfillment. You know, my mom, who was a real character, had this pillow that she had on her couch, and it said, "If money doesn't make you happy, you don't know where to shop." And it always made me laugh. But the truth is, if you don't know how to be happy, it's because you don't know where to look. Our greatest sense of satisfaction, fulfillment, and happiness comes from something else other than material wealth. And what you'll discover in this short time are 5 common manifestation mistakes that many people make that greatly reduce the ability to access the precise power you need to transform your life. And you'll see why most goals and resolutions can only take you so far, and why so many are abandoned quickly without any lasting success or change. Lastly, we'll conclude this brief video with a simple 8-step formula that's literally involved in every single form of creation, whether it be wealth, love, spiritual realization, career advancement, or anything else. And that's why it's so vital that you watch this presentation to the very end, because once you master these steps, you'll literally be able to transform your life, to turn your pain into passion, have more joy in your life, and more wealth, more love, and more success, more of everything you want, if you could just understand and follow some of these teachings. But before I move forward, I'm going to pose a somewhat philosophical question to you. How can we as human beings actually create or build something in this world? How do we change or transform? Is it all about work and effort, striving and struggling? Or is there another way? I used to think the former, but that was a reflection of my life at that time, which had become all about struggle and little else. As a young man, I was very driven and ambitious, and my dream was to be a professional photographer, and I stopped at nothing to make that goal a reality. Nobody worked harder than I did. I left my country, I moved abroad to a land where I didn't even speak the language. I wanted to be a fashion photographer, and I figured if you want to be a bullfighter, you have to go where the bulls are. So I moved to Paris, the capital of the fashion world. And on a shoestring budget, I pushed and pushed for years, practicing every day, constantly hustling for work. And I figured nothing could stop me if I worked hard enough. And I supported myself by doing magic in nightclubs, dubbing films in English, and other odd jobs. Now, years later, my success came my way, and I became the official photographer for the royal family of Monaco, who was the former Grace Kelly. I photographed Richard Nixon and other presidents and tons of famous actors and musicians and models. I was a regular contributor to Elle, to Marie Claire, Paris Match, and French Vogue, considered at the time the most cutting fashion magazine in the world. I traveled in elite circles. I was in the music world, hanging out with the Rolling Stones and other famous rock stars. I really felt I had it made. And what had started as a dream had become my life's work. I became one of the most in-demand photographers in Paris, which is the heart of the fashion industry. I met and married a beautiful woman during this time. We started a family. So by most people's standards, my life was magical. I had realized nearly everything I had ever dreamed of. You know, here I was, one of the top fashion photographers in Europe, creating wealth through my passion. I owned a beautiful home in the French countryside, 30 minutes from a phenomenal studio in the 16th arrondissement in Paris. I enjoyed loving relationships with my wife and children, and all my effort and striving and hard work had paid off, and I was happy, finally happy, or so I thought, because soon my life just came tumbling down, all starting with my relationship. A few years after returning to the United States to be near my ailing mom and then moving to the Southwest, which had been a big dream of my wife's, everything started to fall apart. Seemingly, out of the blue, my wife left me, and I didn't see it coming. Though, in retrospect, the signs were certainly there. I was just too blind to see them, preoccupied with all my own stuff. Suddenly, I felt alone in the world. Here I was, abandoned by the woman I loved. I had tons of responsibilities, and I was caring for my 4 children and working in a full-time job, trying to maintain a huge property we had. Unfortunately, I was so emotionally distraught, I had zero ambition to work. I quickly burned through my entire life savings, and at that point, then really things got tough. Here, the love of my life, gone. My money, gone. My career that I'd worked so hard to build up, disappearing. And I lost the will to work. I just couldn't feel inspired. In the midst of all this pain, which rendered me totally dysfunctional, I just had no desire to work. I'll share more about how my life turned around in just a moment, but first let me share a huge aha I had during this experience. It might seem like a simple discovery on the surface, but if you take action on this, it can forever change your life. You know, sometimes we think we need to make some massive effort in order to create change, when in reality it's better to make a series of small incremental changes. Not only is it easier and feel more organic, it also makes the changes more lasting. And I want to share with you some of the small changes that I think that you could make that could make a big difference in your life. You know, you can shift the direction you're walking in by just a degree or two, and you end up in a totally different place. Look at this example. A simple shift in direction is going to take you to a far different place down the road. Now look, shift a little bit more, and the end difference is even greater. The longer you wait, the bigger shift is going to have to take place at the end. You know, they say climbing Mount Everest starts with a single step. Well, let's think right now of maybe one or two things that you could do that might make a difference in your life. How about 1 minute of exercise every hour? Instead of trying to do, I'm going to do a half hour every day, try doing 1 minute a day. How about telling your partner just one more time every day you love them? How about spending 1 more hour a week with one of your kids, or eating 1 less snack a week, or adding 1 fruit or vegetable to your diet? Here's one. How about writing 1 paragraph a day of the book that you want to write? How about making 1 minute of organizational effort around your desk? This is one I did, and it helps a lot. How about watching 1 less hour of TV this month, or drink 1 more glass of water every day? Another one that I'm doing. How about giving $1 to someone in need, to open your heart to giving? You know, Mother Teresa said, it's not how much we do, but how much love we put into the doing. It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into the giving. To God, there is nothing small. John Wooden is one of the greatest coaches ever. He says, when you improve a little each day, eventually big things occur. When you improve conditioning a little each day, eventually you have a big improvement in conditioning. Not tomorrow, not the next day, but eventually a big gain is made. Don't look for the quick, big improvement. Seek the small improvement 1 day at a time. That's the only way it happens. And when it happens, it lasts. And this is somebody that should know he won a lot. Really, taking small steps can lead to big improvements. You have to take 1 step before you can take 10,000. But back to my story. I received so many blessings from my journey through this pain. One such blessing was my ego had been shattered by my having the experience of my life simply falling apart. You know, the secrets of fulfillment are hidden in our heart. They're not found through our material self. And by shattering our ego, we can start to discover some of these secrets. As I later learned, when we destroy the mountain of our existence, we discover the treasures that are hidden within. You see, in the pain of losing everything, one of the things that hit me was that there's a difference between coming from force versus coming from power. Force operates on a lower level. It involves pushing, striving, pain, struggle, and aggression. It's often unpleasant and makes it difficult to even enjoy the process or the journey. It's very ego-driven, and it causes a lot of stress. Which isn't to say you shouldn't work for things that you want. Of course, I know that actions are required to develop your career, move forward in your business, or attract the right partner, or earn money. But it's about where you come from while you act. You know, there's a law of physics that says for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and it pertains to force. On a personal level, I noticed that when I pushed for things, even when I felt I gained something, as in the case with my career, what happened is I also lost in other areas of my life. I was so focused on my career, I didn't even see it. So there was an equal negative reaction in my relationships and my inner being in life, even if I wasn't really conscious of it happening. You know, I was giving my wife what I felt she wanted, but it turned out it wasn't what she felt she wanted. Understanding this alone changed all my relationships. Listen, please pay attention to this, because often we're giving the love that we think is right, that we think is best. And even though our love might not be perfect, our intentions are. But this love that we give, it might not be what the other person needs. Maybe you feel, as I did, that by being successful and having a beautiful home and a lot of material things, that your partner or your children are having what they want, but maybe your kids would prefer you show up at home on a regular basis. And when you do, you're totally present for them, doing what they want, not what you necessarily want. This single shift can be life-changing, and I know this is true because it was for me. And this isn't to say we shouldn't have goals and dreams, but rather there's a creative power that can bring us these things we want without the downside. And that's the power that I'm going to show you how to access, so that you can produce wealth and attract love, you can transform your health, you can feel deep, spontaneous joy every day without any cost to other parts of your life. It's the only way I know of for someone to really have it all. So stay with me here, because I learned this the hard way. You already know the painful part of my story. Now let me share the rest. During this period in which I was so depressed, I began to work with a spiritual psychologist and her husband, and I discovered that my life, and especially my relationship, had been built on a shaky foundation because I had forced everything. And once I ran out of the energy to push, much of my life collapsed. As part of the healing process, she recommended I see a great spiritual teacher from Jerusalem, someone who had guided her and her husband and who was well-versed in mystical practices and traditions that spanned many thousands of years. This teacher had remained hidden from people in the West, but it was renowned where he lived and in other parts of the world for his ability to open hearts and to provide immediate life-changing insight for people. So in desperation, I flew to the Holy Land to meet him. I honestly felt like this was my last hope, and I arrived at his home in the middle of the night, exhausted from years of anguish, guilt, and shame. And he took me into his heart and into his home. And for the next hours we spoke. Well, rather, he spoke and I listened. And I still remember that conversation like it was yesterday, because he told me things about myself no one could know, no one could possibly know. And I found my heart moving in mysterious ways, feeling emotions that were outside of my normal everyday experience. By the end of our time together at his home, I felt as if a fog had lifted and the light was shining beautifully and brightly. I felt I could see clearly for the first time in years. I learned later that there were veils that he had helped me lift that had prevented me from experiencing the light and the heart of the divine. Veils that created a wall between me and the light of my Creator. More importantly, a heavy weight had been lifted from my heart. I felt an innate sense of joy and love, not for a particular person, but for the first time in a long time I felt hope. I felt as if I'd really met someone who could guide me in how to turn my life around. I returned home with the beginnings of an understanding of what had happened, but also with the knowledge of how to live and create and thrive without suffering and struggle. A new path had opened up for me which would take me in a totally different direction, and it was really a series of small changes that would lead to this big transformation. Now, it didn't happen overnight, but it did happen in gradual increments. Just like in order to be strong physically, we have to exercise our bodies and build our strength one day at a time. To be strong spiritually, we have to discover how to open our hearts and learn some spiritual exercises and disciplines to make our inner vessel strong. So even though the changes didn't happen all instantly, the change in direction did. Why? Because I sensed the truth of the teachings that were being shared with me. And I decided to take action. And it was this decision to do things differently that helped change everything. And with a few small changes, I could see a different outcome in front of me. I could sense that I was headed somewhere different. In one moment of decision, my life changed radically. Let me repeat that. In one moment of decision, my life changed radically. Here, try this. Turn your head to the right now and look and see what you see. Now simply turn to the left and you see something completely different. Now it didn't take a huge difference of energy to turn your head from your right to your left and look and see a completely different place where you were headed. In today's world, most people are doing what I did at the time, is looking for the magic bullet, the newest discovery that would make everything work. The secret key of possibilities. The thing is, the secret key lies in actually putting into practice things we've probably already been told. During my time with this holy man, I realized I already was aware of many of the things he said that I needed to know. I just didn't know how to take these ancient truths and apply them to my life. I didn't realize that there were ways to organize and apply these divine laws that could create a more positive outcome. Sometimes we can be told something 10 times over and it has no effect on us, but all of a sudden, the 11th time, we get it. You can have all the ingredients you know in your kitchen to make the most delicious meal, but unless you take them and put them together in the right way, you're not going to experience that meal. We have to take action and apply what we know in our everyday life. We can benefit immensely in having someone show us how to do these things. So after my time in the Holy Land, I returned home. Now, in terms of my relationship, while it was long over at the time, the switch that this holy man helped flip inside helped me to make many changes within me that would manifest in my life not long after. Let me share just one example. I'd left my home for a few hours to go do some errands, and when I returned, I walked into the center of the house, which was one really huge room spread out over 3 levels. There was a den, a living room, a kitchen, a dining area. And my 2 youngest kids had been doing their homework in the dining area. And when they heard me come home, they ran down to greet me and they threw their arms around me. And the youngest one jumped up in my arms and the other one hung me around my legs. And in that moment, my heart lifted so high. It was like an incredible feeling of bliss. Later that night, I was wondering about what had happened. And I went to where they were sleeping and I just started to look at them. And as I did, my heart opened again and I felt such strong emotions. Tears of joy were literally running down my face. And then it dawned on me why I was feeling so happy. It was because I had opened my heart and I was loving again. Instead of focusing on the feelings of misery from not having the love I wanted in the face of the person I wanted it from, I just let the love flow from my heart. Now, I'm sure many of you have had a similar feeling of pain and sorrow that comes from not having something that you want. Maybe it was someone you loved who didn't love you back, or maybe it wasn't getting a job you wanted, or having the house of your dreams, or earning the income you want, or missing out on something you felt your heart was set on. But in this moment, I realized that loving my kids, loving them unconditionally without any fear or worry about what I didn't have, and just being grateful for them and everything I did have, made me realize I had it all wrong. Oh yeah, we can be made happy or sad by what we get, but we are fulfilled through what we give. And I spent the rest of the night walking around and feeling grateful for all I had. And from that day forward, every time I feel a negative feeling, I know it's because I'm disconnected from my Creator. I'm not living as an extension of the one who made us and who loves us unconditionally. And all that I need to do now is realize how much I've been given and how much I have to give, and my heart opens again. Our pain isn't from what we don't get, it's from what we hold back in our giving. It's from our blocked love. And when we realize our pain comes from this, and when we love as our Creator loves unconditionally, then we're living as an extension of our Creator in the truest sense, and we can know peace and feel fulfilled. So fast forward to today, I feel happy beyond words. Every single day, my heart's so full of gratitude for all that's transpired. I feel I'm living my life on purpose. My income's better than it's ever been. I have a great relationship, 4 phenomenal children, 2 grandkids. I live in an awesome house, in an awesome place, and I met my current life partner. We've been happily married for years. So I created businesses that paid me many times more than I ever made as a photographer, allowing me to help so many more people in my life and throughout the world. And I was able to use what I learned as a photographer to get involved in making films and videos purely for the fun and love of it. On top of all that, I was able to cultivate a deep and lasting sense of connection with a higher power. And I say that because this connection and joy can be yours, regardless of your spiritual beliefs, practices, or background. There's so much more I could share, but I think it's pretty clear right now I've changed my life, not by force, but rather by tapping into the infinite creative power that exists in our connection to the divine. And that is the real secret. It's how I made my life magical, and this is what I'm sharing here with you now so that you can start today to make your life magical. I just don't want that you get consistently wealthier or just attract love, but I want you to have everything you've ever dreamed of. And I want you to create with grace and joy and peace. I want you to live a life where you feel you're expressing the unique gifts inside of you and that you're making a real difference in the world. All this depends on your access to this infinite power within. Because when you do that, there's no limit to what you can create or attract. Nothing happens at the expense of other things. There is no scarcity or limitation. Before we get into the how, we need to quickly understand the ways that we've been conditioned to sabotage this power within us. I'm referring to the 5 costly manifestation mistakes that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, as those mistakes are where people typically fall short in creating the life they want. Let's go through them one by one. Mistake number 1 is a self-centered attitude. Of course, it's normal to think about yourself or your desires or to focus on your needs. There's nothing wrong with that. However, when you attempt to get without a willingness to give, that's where the trouble occurs. Because what happens is that others around you and anyone you encounter don't feel inspired to help or support you. And this leads to feelings of isolation, which only increases your need to push and to be forceful without getting what you want. The secret here is to realize that the value in our lives comes not from how much we make, it comes from how much we give. Mistake number 2 is distrust or lack of faith. And this is much more common than you think. In fact, the whole premise of my life and my struggle and this great effort was rooted in a sense of distrust. Excuse me. I felt that if I didn't overwork and be aggressive, I wouldn't move forward. Others would get ahead of me and I'd lose. Similarly, I didn't trust anyone to help or support me. My pride made me afraid to ask, and my distrust made me skeptical that anyone would even be willing or could help me. I thought that there was a finite number of jobs available, and if someone else got that job, there wouldn't be enough for me. There's a saying that my teacher shared with me. He said, God says, if I were to give every living creature everything he asked for, it would not diminish the splendor of my abundance any more than dipping a pin in the ocean would decrease its depth. Think about this for a second. Not only is the miracle of creation something to be in awe of, but the fact that all of creation is sustained and cared for on a constant basis, that's miraculous. There's much to be learned from the persistence and consistency with which the divine sustains everything. I think we've all had moments of connection, glimpses of the majesty of God's awe. But what we need to do is to learn how to sustain these moments. And that's what following the divine laws and avoiding the prohibitions does for us. It helps sustain this connection. Since then, I've learned to be happy for what others have. I believe that in no way does that diminish any opportunity for myself. In fact, it enhances it because when I see others have it, I know it can be done. I thought everything was competitive, but I've discovered that co-creating is infinitely more powerful. Mistake number 3 is a lack of sincerity and truthfulness. As I later discovered, being truthful and sincere is incredibly powerful. It's something people can feel. It's something that they inherently respond to. A lack of truthfulness makes it hard for the universe or the divine to give you what you want, since what you think or feel inside doesn't fully match your words or actions. We're constantly in God's presence, whether we see God or not. And God sees the black ant and the black rock and the moonless night. So every time we're out of integrity, even if we don't recognize that we are, our Creator knows. Mistake number 4 is closely related. It's when you're not believable. In order for you to be authentically and naturally persuasive to others versus being persuasive through dishonesty or manipulation, it's essential that others believe in you, that they trust you. Let me give an example. Let's say your dream is to get a book deal with a major publisher to write and create children's books. You have some great samples and you manage to land a great meeting with a key decision maker for a publisher, and this is a publisher who moves a high volume of children's books. If this goes well, you'll have the deal you want: material prosperity, joy, contentment, and much more. Yet, such a deal can only go well if that individual believes in you and in your ability to deliver on your words. The same applies to almost every other scenario. People can feel in their heart when you are truly being authentic. Mistake number 5 is a lack of empathy or love, and this is probably the least obvious or most subtle of all. However, one thing I realized in my journey, and this was a big key, was that love is a sign that we're connected to source energy and the infinite creative power, and pain is a sign of disconnection. I'm not talking about romantic love, though this can help with that, but rather about a love that springs forth from your heart, often with no apparent cause. It's a feeling of joy, of bliss, of closeness and caring for all, of everything, everywhere. And it's impossible to capture the beauty of this feeling in words, at least for me. That was the feeling I felt I had as I had this encounter with my teacher, the holy man I met in Jerusalem. This sense of love has followed me for the rest of my life. And I got to witness firsthand someone whose heart is open to helping all those who suffer, and he lives to serve others and help them open their hearts. He carries the message of love and peace and mercy and justice and freedom, and his faith and trust in his Creator is complete. He's the fullest expression of divinity in the human form that I've ever met. And indeed, it was helped create the foundation that allowed me to create and attract so much in all the areas of my life. It's almost as if by magic, and that's what I want for you starting today. At this moment, you could literally turn off this video and practice what I've shared, and you'd be a changed person, well ahead of others who are stuck in the struggle and striving for the model of success and creation that much of the world follows. I want to help you go beyond and truly master this success so that you can change your life as profoundly as I was able to transform mine. And I want you to become wealthy in all areas, not just money, but also in love and joy and purpose and career and relationships and more. And for this reason, I've created a special program designed to assist and guide you on your unique journey from now for as long as you live. And the beauty of this program is that it helps you in countless ways beyond just attracting wealth. Your relationship with your significant other will improve. You become closer to your kids and family. The quality of your friendships are enhanced. Professionally, people respect you more and enjoy working with you. You'll be trusted, appreciated, and recognized far more because there'll be less stress in your life. Even your health will improve. You'll become a more magnetic person, more charismatic. It's easier for people to get to listen to you and follow your lead, and you'll feel a sense of joy in your heart that's not tied to anything outside, a joy that, because it's intrinsic, can be never taken away from you. And if you already feel you have some of these things, then you can experience having even more fulfillment in these areas. So, what is this program? I call it Make Your Life Magical, Creating Wealth from Within. Because it's all about tapping into your deepest power, the power that connects directly to the divine, and then harnessing in this power to totally transform your life. It's quite literally the culmination of literally decades of work in this area, working with both companies and individuals in the areas of spirituality, relationships, wealth, and love. And this has been my focus throughout this last phase of my life. It's really been a fantastic journey. And here's some of the things that some of the people have said about this process. The moment you meet Tony Kent, you know he's the real deal. Honest, inspirational, sincere, and encouraging. Anyone can feel a bond with Tony from their first encounter. He's a master marketer, and everything he does with integrity. I recommend Tony Kent to anyone looking for help in growing their business. That's from Darren Falter, the co-founder of Yoli. Christian Drapeau, the founder of STEM Tech Health Sciences, says, Tony has mastered one of the most important aspects of life, caring about people, and he knows how to help people. Discover this force. And Terry Newsom of Trivita says, Tony was absolutely amazing as he was the perfect choice to demonstrate reciprocity and his unconditional giving spirit. Now, I didn't share these testimonies with you to brag. I shared them with you simply because I want you to realize that when you learn to use some of these principles and these divine laws and apply them in your life, that people look at you in a different way. You know, there's many big company leaders all over the world that use these principles. My focus has actually been much more on trying to help individuals to experience what I experienced. So as I said, I call this program Make Your Life Magical, Creating Wealth from Within. I use the word magical here because that's what it feels like when your life flows, when you experience harmony, when your desires become reality without pain and struggle, and because a magical life is possible for you now. The program is 25 multimedia videos that consist of over 8 hours of training, along with workbook modules for each lesson, so that you master each step in the process of total transformation. Indeed, we use all forms of media because in the unique ways in how different people discover and process information to achieve the best possible results for all students. Whether you're someone who absorbs information visually or through the spoken word or kinesthetically, you'll have the optimal experience with this program because it combines all three. Yeah, I was also a professional magician for many years, and I use magic as a metaphor to help you remember important points. So the program is entertaining as well as enlightening. Now, why would I do this? Because what I love about magic is what makes magic an art. It's that it's in the unseen. It's what you don't see that makes something magical. You know, in most art, it's what you see that makes it art, how a painter modulates their colors, how a dancer controls their body. But the secret of beautiful magic transpires in the invisible realms. Good magic is a celebration of the unknown, of the unseen, and there's great beauty for me in the mysteries created by magic. And in life, many of the secrets of life are also in the unseen, in things that science can't really seem to prove or measure. The love we feel in our hearts is like magic for me. I don't need it to be proved. I want it to be felt or experienced. Another thing I love about magic is that magic pushes the boundaries of what is possible. There's great power and great truth in the inner life. And in expanding these inner realms and opening our hearts to love more and to feel more and to give more. And I want to help you to wake up the inner magician within you, that magician that's inside you that can make things appear out of your thoughts. I want you to have the experience of having your pain almost magically disappear and transformed into something more joyful. Just like a magician who can pull a rabbit out of the hat, I want you to be able to create the reality of your life from what's now in the unseen for you, which is just in your dreams. All the great spiritual traditions have handed down truths that are there to help us. We can use them as a roadmap into this inner and unseen world. And it's these truths that we can use to expand our own selves and then transcend many of the limitations that prevent us from expressing our greatness. Because it's with these truths that when we learn to understand them and adapt them to our lives today, that we can learn to transcend our challenges and create a truly magical life. You know, I thought I knew a lot of these truths before my life seemed to fall apart. But what I didn't know was how to use them, how to make them part of me, and having someone guide me is what made all the difference in the world. You know, I love learning new magic tricks from someone who's really good at doing that particular trick. Why? Because it really shortens the learning curve. And I love learning how to turn my pain into a passion from one of the true living masters. And that is why I use magic as a metaphor in every one of these 25 videos. So here's a sample of what I mean. I hope you enjoy it. Hi, Tony Kent from MakeYourLifeMagical.com. Today's moment of magic is about manifestation, about the process of creating, taking a blank slate and then creating something on that slate. Like a painter, for instance, will take a canvas and it'll be blank, and he'll probably have an idea of the picture that he wants to put on that canvas, and then he'll take his tools and he'll paint and he'll create what it is he wanted to have as the story on that canvas. So when I wanted to create this program, I knew I was starting with a blank slate, but it was important to me that I let go of the past and worries and fears and not worry about the things that I couldn't do and focus on the things that I could do to make manifest my vision. So it was the same way. I have a blank piece of paper here. I can take this paper and I could draw on it, I could write on it, I could maybe put some images on it with some photo paper or something. I can also quickly transform it like this into something quite magical. I had the idea before I started of what I wanted to turn it into, and that's what made the whole thing possible. So believe in your vision, believe in your dreams, and do what you can do to make things manifest, and trust in your vision, and enjoy yourself so you can live to love, love to serve, and make your life magical. Many thanks and many blessings. Now imagine waking up each morning joyfully with excitement and anticipation. Imagine never worrying about money, yet seeing your income grow each month due to shifts in the way you act and think around money. Imagine attracting the love of your life or rekindling the passion with your current partner and feeling incredible in his or her presence. Can you picture how your life would be if you felt grateful, realized, successful, complete? Whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams, whatever parts of your life you want to change, you can do it using the powerful processes that I teach you in the Make Your Life Magical program. Here's how the program works. Week 1 is all about the power of purpose. I'll personally show you a system. Actually, I'll personally walk you through the system, step by step, and you'll discover how to write your purpose statement in order to create a bigger life that fulfills your dreams. You will get tools that will empower you to manifest extraordinary growth in every area of your life. And I'll reveal the simple formula that you can use to discover your deeper purpose and then how to set goals that ignite that sense of purpose. Then in week 2 is the Wheel of Life. The spiritual secrets of the Wheel of Life and how they help you establish balance, equilibrium, and a high degree of satisfaction in all parts of your life and business. You'll get the secret tools for dealing with tension that comes with the obligations of life. And you'll master the balance needed to make big changes in your life without harming the other parts of your life. Week 3 is all about the power of love. And here we experience the exquisitely beautiful journey of connecting to the divine source so that you're in its flow of divine provision in every moment. And you'll discover the truth of who you are, how to open your spiritual heart to divine love. And you'll connect to your spiritual heart so that your sense of joy is not dependent on the outside world. Week 4. Week 4 is about creating wealth from within, and for many, this module is worth the entire program. Here we uncover the truth about your relationship to money and wealth, and we heal whatever blocks you from the flow of provision that the divine wants to give you. You'll discover what the soul of money is and how to connect with it. And I'll show you the foundational spiritual principles that create wealth from the inside out. And finally, you'll understand your relationship to wealth and money and how that opens or blocks the flow of divine abundance. In week 5, we master healthy relationships. You'll get the 10 most powerful secrets of building harmonious relationships. I'll show you how to recognize patterns and beliefs of self-sabotage, and you'll be armed with spiritual tools that empower you to communicate and how to open your heart and attract the immense love that you're willing to give. Week 6 is freedom through forgiveness, and this is where we experience how to be free from pain and guilt and to be present in the moment and how to live in acceptance. And I'll share with you how my teacher taught me how to let go of the past and the pain of having the mother of my children leave, and how to open my heart to forgiveness and to leave any resentment behind and to live in the present moment with my heart happy and full of love. And at this point, you'll learn to release stuck emotions and beliefs and thoughts from the past. And you'll let go of the pain and guilt associated from the past mistakes, while also experiencing a forgiveness as a reality rather than just a mental concept. Lastly, you'll master the process of receiving inspiration and peace that comes through divine freedom. In week 7, The Tools of Change, you'll discover that change is a natural part of life. It's our relationship to it that determines whether or not we can ride its wave or experience it as difficulty and struggle. You'll finally be able to embrace change and attract the change you want. You'll take steps towards lasting or even permanent transformation. Plus, you'll deepen passion and purpose as it relates to change as you awaken the inner magician through spiritual principles. Now, in week 8, Secrets of Success, we wrap up the process. And in this module, I show you how to harmonize and synchronize all the things that you've uncovered so far, including how to integrate the systems and the mechanisms, the tools, and the concepts that work together to create the success that you desire. You'll discover how to set goals, setting goals that are consistent with divine support and in alignment with your life purpose. And you'll use prayers of gratitude to solidify success in amazing ways. Last but not least, you'll develop inner spiritual strength to expand trust and strengthen your intuition. There's so much in this program, it's impossible for me to list everything we also cover. We talk about how small thinking could be currently limiting your ability to experience magical change, and a simple twist that unblocks you and helps you to feel a rush of daily inspiration. Why you probably haven't tapped into your true wealth potential yet. The G word that can instantly make you happy at any moment of any day. How to know whether or not you have money blocks, and 3 ways using spiritual principles that will help you lift any barriers to financial success. We even discuss things like how forgiveness can help you break free of any past pain in your life. Of course, this doesn't even scratch the surface. The entire Make Your Life Magical program contains 25 rich multimedia instructional presentations with over 8 hours of training so that you can completely transform all aspects of your life in just 8 weeks, or even faster if you prefer, because you can progress entirely at your own pace. And this is as close as you can possibly get to meeting this great teacher that I was fortunate enough to meet, and being blessed with total life transformation that you probably never dreamed or realized was possible. Remember I told you about the people that talked and gave some testimonies before? I didn't do that in order to brag. I just wanted to share with you the effect that you can have on people when you use these principles. This program literally takes you beyond the processes that I've used to attract wealth into my life, and can quickly, almost immediately revolutionize your ability to be happier, more joyful, more spiritually abundant, and have a better life. Best of all, you won't have to pay hundreds of thousands for my processes or device, not even tens of thousands, not even thousands. During the 2 years it took to create this course, I had originally thought to market it for $3,995. Not much more than the plane ticket I bought to go to the Holy Land to meet my teacher. Not a fraction of the over $100,000 I've invested in learning over the last few years from different mentors and teachers in addition to my teacher. I spent weeks on each of these multimedia videos. There's 25 of them. Things have gone so well for me financially, I've decided that this is something that I want to leave as my legacy. I'm more interested in reaching a lot of people and touching their hearts than in making a lot more money. And so, because you're here today, I'm offering this entire Make Your Life Magical program, all 8 video modules and workbooks, to you for the low price of just $297. I believe that's a small price to pay for the ability to transform every part of your life and to tap into infinite abundance now and in the years to come. This is my way of helping you and others break the cycle of effort, frustration, pain, and embrace a more graceful and beautiful way to achieve success, wealth, and love. I want everyone to experience and live in the heart of prosperity. I want to live in a different kind of a world where people actually tap into their divine power, where they connect with each other, where they have attitudes of love and service towards each other, and never have to worry about money. This program that my research team and I have spent 2 years putting together breaks down all the steps in the process and helps accomplish just that. It's going to give you everything that you need in order to make full use of this process. It's going to help you to tap into the infinite creative power that's inside of you, today and in the future. It's going to help you inspire trust, confidence, and to get results and to reap the rewards, both inner and outer, of being a powerful and divinely inspired individual, all of which will lead to far greater personal happiness, wealth, and overall life success, today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life. There is nothing else like this that I know of, because I would have read it or seen it, or I'd be using it myself. I had to discover this from one of the most remarkable spiritual teachers to ever walk this earth, a man who I've dedicated my life to helping spread this teaching via programs like this, by books, seminars, and many charitable efforts that he makes all over the world. This process can help you or anyone, regardless of your job, your background, your education, your sex, your appearance, or anything else, access the unlimited inner power and to create the exact life for yourself that you want. Just the ability to have others listen to you or trust you more deeply or to support you in your dreams and vision, even if it's just for one day, would be worth the price. But I'm not talking about one day. So if you're ready to get started, there's a button below where you can click and begin. Of course, there's absolutely no risk whatsoever in giving the program a try. I have complete 100% confidence in the ability of this material to do everything I've promised, and more, as long as you take action on what is shared. Remember, it's my mission, it's my sincerest intention to make your life truly magical, and I can only do that by getting this information into your hands. If you don't think that this is worth 10 times the price, then I absolutely insist you send it back to me for a prompt, no questions asked, 100% refund. I only want you to pay for this powerful program if and when it transforms your relationships, your personal influence, and your ability to create lasting wealth, period. Again, just click on the button below to get started. It's easy. Just follow the steps, and minutes from now you can be going through this life-changing process, realizing your full potential, personally, romantically, financially, spiritually, and more, from the comfort of your own home. Remember, I had to go all the way to Jerusalem. And that's the goal, isn't it? To bring you to mastery so that this entire process becomes second nature to you. You'll automatically create amazing, authentic relationships with everyone you meet because you will be a different person inside. You'll naturally inspire people to want to trust you and to be close to you and to work with you. And as you give them your heart, you'll receive their love, their support and help. This will create win-win exchanges that'll enrich their life as well as yours, and even create financial abundance for all. I am confident that this will be a lifelong tool that'll make you the kind of person you've always had the potential to be. You'll be liked, loved, respected, powerful, charismatic, and financially abundant. So, to summarize, here's what you're going to get. 25 step-by-step video coaching modules with me. This includes 8+ hours of virtual multimedia modules that'll entertain, educate, and empower you. You're going to get guided, easy action worksheets and workbooks for implementation of the lessons. You're going to be able to join the members community, our forum on Facebook, to ask your questions and be with like-minded people that are looking to be into responsible global stewardship. You know, I've had students pay thousands for coaching that delivered less raw information than what you're getting today. Yet you're going to pay only $297 when you secure your copy of this program now. That's a little less than $1 a day this year alone. For the opportunity to revolutionize all your relationships in the most positive possible way and to grow significantly wealthier in the process. And I know that once you get a taste of this, you won't use it just for a year. It'll become a lifelong tool that will forever change you and what you model for your family and for your loved ones. It's going to help them to lead more fulfilling lives as well. So I sincerely hope that you'll join us. Honestly, it would be such a pleasure to welcome you aboard and help you along in your journey, and it would be my honor to serve you. I believe there are no accidents. You're here because you want something more in your life. You want access to abundance without the struggle and pain of trying to become wealthy. You want better relationships and an even greater connection to the divine or God. So I hope you see how you've just been presented with the steps for achieving all of that and more. All you need to do is make the decision to do some of these things. So the question is, will you? Will you take action? If so, I'm confident a whole new world and a whole new way of life awaits you. No more feeling underappreciated, underrecognized, or disrespected. No more struggling, frustration, no more trying things that don't work, but rather a life where you live from your heart and you tap into the immense creative power that already exists inside of you, where many other like-minded people will be gathered, and you can attract them into your life, and you can help them with their lives, and you can share common goals, and we can all co-create together. You'll be recognized and appreciated abundantly for your contributions. When your life will flow, it will be filled with joy and grace and peace. You can have this kind of life. You can have everything you've ever dreamed of or hoped for. It just begins with the steps that you take now, starting today. It begins in reality with the relationship that you have with yourself and with the divine. And this program can help you, but it's up to you to take the next step. So, let me leave you just with one more thought. I believe that gratitude is the best soil there is for growing things of value. So I want to say how grateful I am to you for spending all this time with me. And I hope that you've found much of value. One of the reasons I'm so grateful to you is because of how much your seeking opens my heart and makes me look deeper and deeper into how I can be of more service. You know, they say, you always teach what you need to learn. And I'm still learning. And I know that I'm happy to keep learning and to keep practicing the principles that I've shared with you. So if you're ready and you'd like to go on, I'd love to work with you, starting right now with my Make Your Life Magical program. So to begin, simply click the button below and follow the easy steps to get started. In mere minutes, you'll be accessing the program, embarking on your journey. And I look forward to taking that journey with you. And either way, it's been a privilege to be here with you today. And I hope we can have more time again in the future. Thank you. From my heart to your heart, thank you. This is Tony Kent, and until we speak again, I want you to relish every precious moment. And I encourage you, live to love, love to serve, and make your life magical. Many thanks and many blessings.